Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening and welcome to Our News. I'm Jerome Sawyer sitting in tonight. Due to a positive COVID-19 case in one of the employees at RTV, we've decided to do things a bit differently, just in case you've noticed. So thank you for bearing with us as we attempt to get back on our feet. The big story tonight, though, around the Prime Minister's decision to reverse restrictions on a 7-day lockdown implemented just Monday. It meant that hundreds lined up at grocery stores, gas stations and pharmacies as early as first light today. Giorgio Bain gets us started with this report.
Tensions were high at several food stores today as lines wrapped around the building and stretched past nearby businesses. Outside some stores, things got so heated between residents waiting in line that police officers were called in. The chaos prompted food stores to release statements reassuring customers that they would be open for extended hours. SuperValu in a statement assured customers that there was no need to panic and that all stores would be operating from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. However, that didn't stop shoppers over at SuperValu's Golden Gates location. They said they won't be caught off guard by restrictions again. Sister Pear said she learned her lesson after not having enough food to carry her through a lockdown.
No, I didn't have enough groceries, and due to uncertainty, we don't know when he's going to shift. I am preparing just in case. I have enough amenities for now, but it's not sufficient to sustain because we don't know when he's going to switch the lockdown date or time. It's so uncertain right now, and due to the storm that's coming, I want to be prepared for me and my family.
Nathan Bastian said he was prepared to wait in line as long as it took. He made this plea to the Prime Minister to be more fair in his announcements.
I am going to wait. My wife called me and she told me that she needed some items. She's in Andres, North Andres, and I'm going to do my endeavor best to purchase because I can take care of my house. I'm going to take care. At the end of the day, every man is responsible. Even person got arrested trying to demonstrate to get the view, even at the safety of, their own health. To make it known for a fact, outside of everything else, we need a heart. Prime Minister, you need a heart. Motherfucker, you need a soul.
Inside shopping, we met John, who was venting his frustrations out loud. He warned customers not to panic shop.
I wasn't prepared, but you know what I mean? But we always have something in the house that can last a few extra days. So that's probably just come just to get the freshen up on whatever you have. So, a lot of people that's going out just buying a lot of stuff, which don't make no sense. Because when you put all these things in your house, you're wasting your money. Because when you need money for lights, water, and different things, you're just going with food. You ain't going to pay the landlord.
Meanwhile, Ernesto Williams was wrapping up his shopping when he spoke with us. He said he was caught off guard by the Prime Minister's announcement because he opted not to listen to rumors. Today, he prepared for a potential storm and another potential lockdown.
You always have to look at justifying security with the rest of the emblems on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So we know if the basics are food over security, then you want to make sure that you're able to supply individuals with that. Even while you're trying to secure health and wellness, you want to make sure that you're securing provisions. And no one wants to see anyone lacking in this country.
The Prime Minister has indicated that grocery stores, pharmacies, water depots, gas stations, and hardware stores would be open until further notice. However, he added he will provide further details on New Providence's lockdown during a national address later this week. Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
And there was no shortage of confusion today on the streets around the Prime Minister's amendments to the 7-day lockdown. As a matter of fact, a lot of businesses and customers seemed uncertain and confused about what was allowed and what wasn't. Kyle Walkane was also out on the streets today.
This doesn't look good. Just look online. You don't have to ask me. We have to open up. That's all I know.
There's a level of uncertainty among businesses and residents in New Providence. This after the Prime Minister abruptly announced tighter restrictions which took effect immediately Monday night, but then reversed them the next evening until further notice. His reasoning? A storm in the Atlantic that meteorologists say can impact the Bahamas within the coming days. But it's the unrest caused by Minister's announcement Monday and the confusion it's caused for not just Bahamians, but businesses as well.
Well, for the gas station, it didn't affect us because we opened up right away. But if it was restaurants like how we did it, it takes too long to warm it up, restaurants. Right. We need a few days. That's what's killing us. Right. We can't even do curbside. We can't even cook food anymore. So it's not good for us. Right. But as opening up a gas station in 2 seconds, it doesn't take much.
Though water depots didn't open until around noon, residents were lined up, some since 5 a.m. Outside Aquapure, the line went along Bernard Road and onto the property of other businesses. The abrupt shutdown and resumption, a setback.
We were scheduled to redo restocking production yesterday as per the last order. Here at Aquapure, when we lose a day of production, when we lose hours in production, it is a ripple effect to all of our customers that the demand doesn't go away. When the supply is affected, it's very challenging and difficult to kind of catch up and then keep up.
Aquapure Chief of Operations Christian Knoll says with the threat of a storm, the demand for water has increased. And this was evident by the lines of empty 5-gallon bottles that sat in front of customers as they waited.
When we have storms traveling on, coupled with the increase in demand because of the situation with COVID, it's extremely challenging for us. You know, it's a mode that we get into that we're really used to. But this has been almost like a mode that's lasted since March.
Aside from businesses, the average Bahamian like Kimberly Miners was left stunned at the abrupt announcement. Miners also questioned what "until further notice" meant in the Prime Minister's statement.
I read something online about the storm. That storm was out there when you made your speech. So this cannot just be about that storm. Didn't your advisors advise you to check the weather system? This is still a hurricane zone here. What's going on? So I have a lot of questions. The Prime Minister needs to do some answering, and we need to find out who these advisors are.
Father of 4, Solomon Lord, says while he understands the Prime Minister is in a peculiar position as the competent authority, he had hoped a bit more compassion and consideration would have been shown.
In fact, my dad was not losing the house. At that time, I was hoping that he would say a 2 weeks extension, not knowing that he was locked down immediately. Notice the difference of immediately? That meant it come in effect just when he said it. Everybody started scrambling like rat.
As New Providence residents told lines to get in pharmacies, banks, gas stations, and food stores, some, like Orville Smith, chose to see the glass half full.
I'm glad people actually got the chance to get the resources from a poorly made decision, poorly informed decision, and I'm not trying to input any more negativity into the system because we already have a lot of tensions riding high.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
A group of protesters shut down by police for a second straight day. The group continuing to express outrage over the emergency powers and claiming that they can no longer trust the nation's leader. Bethany McDermott picks up the story from here.
You can lock us up this. You is a public servant.
A small group of protesters clashed with police officers outside Golden Gate's World Outreach Ministries today as they sought to again display their outrage with the competent authority. The group, led by Kendall Colbrook, said emergency orders are unconstitutional. Colbrook called on Prime Minister Dr. Hewitt Minnis to step down.
We cannot trust the leadership of this country in his hand. For a man that is under the leadership and the ultimate power this time, we need him to dismiss office right away.
But their silent protest was short-lived as law enforcement officers showed up and this heated exchange ensued.
You are imposing on our Constitution, bro. That's what you gotta do.
Listen, sir, I appreciate you.
You can't do that, bro.
I appreciate you. The greatest I'm
we put you all in there. You are a public servant.
You can lock us up this. We're gonna walk right now is not the protest time.
Okay.
So when is the time? You're trying to get food. You make noise yesterday for food yesterday, man. It's on knees.
It's not the entire lockdown. It's the economy. It's for freedom.
Right now we need to utilize this time right now to collect food and think of your homes. For your homes right now.
However, protesters insisted they are fighting for the rights of all Bahamians. Mother of one, Carissa Colmer, took issue with the fact that despite being given the time to shop and gather essential items, many Bahamians don't have the means to do so and are forced to rely on government agencies like the Department of Social Services.
And today I'm out here for all the mothers that are in need. Right now, I am stable, but there are other women out there who are being put out on the street, and they are not stable. And everybody's saying, go to social services, go this place, go that place, but there's no help. I sign up for something with the food place name online.
Why they call it?
Rapid.com. And 3 months later, I've stalled 3 months ago, and I've still not received anything.
This protest comes one day after a group of protesters gathered on Windsor Park and decried the lockdown. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Now, the Prime Minister's decision last night to allow some businesses to reopen today was attributed to an approaching weather system. Meteorologists say that nearly every model has a weather system passing straight over the Bahamas with the potential of becoming a named storm by the time it makes landfall. Jasmine Brown reports.
With the Atlantic hurricane season more than a week into its peak, the tropics are quickly heating up. Weather officials are currently keeping an eye on 3 areas that stretch from the coast of Africa to the Caribbean Sea. But it's a disturbance in the Atlantic Ocean that weather experts say will likely become a tropical depression or storm in the next few days. Hurricane historian and weather expert Wayne Neely.
We're going to be impacted by the system, and that's the system to watch.
Neely says the elongated area of low pressure dubbed Invest 98L is not only favorable for tropical development, it's also moving west-northwest, with the majority of models placing the Bahamas in its direct path, something he says is quite rare.
Most of the models seem to be in agreement that taking it directly over the Bahamas some way or the other.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has given this system a high chance of development. In fact, on Wednesday morning, the system had a more than 60% chance of development. Neely says that's because overnight, factors that were expected to slow its development, like dry air and Saharan dust, have begun to dissipate. So what can the Bahamas expect to experience? Neely says the worst-case scenario is the system will develop into a Category 1 storm.
There's some wind shear occurring in that area as well. How great the effect the wind shear and the dry air will impact the storm. If it impacts it significantly, it means that you're going to get probably just an area of disturbed weather, and then probably we get a tropical storm force storm impacting the Bahamas. But if it has less of an effect, it means that you get a stronger area of disturbance, and you'll get the high chance of it becoming a Category 1 hurricane or a strong tropical storm.
However, he added that even if it remains an unnamed tropical disturbance, on its current path it can bring rainfall and strong winds. While there is still some uncertainty about the system, he says everyone should keep a close eye on what's brewing in the tropics. NEMA released a statement around midday on Wednesday that said computer models presently indicate that the system is to eventually move into the Bahamas by Sunday, August 23, 2020, with a likelihood of it strengthening into a hurricane as it passes through the chain of islands. It went on to say, based on current projections, the Department of Meteorology will likely issue alert messages starting Thursday, August 20th, 2020. The next name on the list of storms is Laura. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
There's more news on the way, but our first look at weather with meteorologist Greg Thompson. Greg?
Thanks, Jerome. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your first look at weather, being brought to you tonight by Downing. On the outside, we have partly cloudy skies, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. It winds out of the southeast at 6 knots. Feels like temperature around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. On our satellite, upper level trough across the Gulf of Mexico, pumping tropical moisture across our area, generating some showers and thunderstorms across most of the northwest and central islands tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
And still to come tonight, Grand Bahama residents react to another extension on the lockdown there. Plus, 5 men on that island also arraigned on fraud-related charges today. Lots more news straight ahead.
Rev up on the next promotion. Okay. Nice.
Bye. You give up it.
Best 2 out of 3.
Sign up for Rev Trio and opt in to NBA League Pass absolutely free. Visit rev.bs or call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us, together.
And welcome back. You're watching our news. The extension of the lockdown in Grand Bahama has some residents there pretty upset as they prepare to enter the 5th straight week of lockdowns. Berthany McDermott tells us more.
Rough and frustrating is how Grand Bahama residents describe life now that the Prime Minister has extended their lockdown for another week. Cleola Russell lives in the Lewis Yard area, and with 8 mouths to feed, she says her main concern is getting water for the children.
The most thing, water. The children drinking a lot of water. But everything, you know, just thank God for life.
Theolinda Roll says things are not the same as she is now unemployed. She said her husband passed away and the only breadwinner is her son.
It's better with me. My husband's deceased, so I have no but my son. He's helping me, feeding me, what's not. You know, so it's rough. He goes out, he hustles jobs. Okay, he will cut the lawn for them, or maybe go on a roof job, or weed, or go to the mechanic shop. That I'm cleaning up and they finish, they want him to help him sand down, put bundle on car and sand down.
In his national address, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said the lockdown for Grand Bahama would be extended for 7 days, adding that health officials are beginning to see progress on that island. This is the second time Grand Bahama's lockdown has been extended. On August 6th, State Minister for Grand Bahama Kwesi Thompson announced that it would be extended until August 19th. Russell says her roof leaks and her house is without electricity, which makes it difficult for her to remain indoors for such a long time.
It's difficult for me to stay indoors. It's like you get claustrophobic. No air can enter because it's hot. And then I come outside to get a little fresh air. If the officer come right in and tell me, now, you know you're not supposed to be here, please go inside. I don't argue with them. I get up and go.
However, the same cannot be said for Dorothy Lewis, who we found playing dominoes with her family. She said she enjoys the lockdown.
She loved the lockdown. She loved the lockdown because if this virus is spreading, then this is the best thing to do, eh? So we and see what this is what we do to pass that time.
Despite the grim circumstances, Russell is advising residents to put God first during these difficult times. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Also from Grand Bahama tonight, 5 men were charged in the magistrate's court today on fraud-related charges in connection with a complaint filed by Gold Rock Company last week. 27-year-old Austin Augustine appeared before Magistrate LaQuay Lang on charges of forged documents and attempted fraud by false pretenses. The Hannah Hill resident pleaded not guilty. 29-year-old Lauren Turnquest, 47-year-old Johnny Joseph, and 22-year-old Donald Higgs Jr. were also charged with possession of a forged document, uttering a forged document, and 2 counts of fraud by false pretenses, along with conspiracy to commit fraud. They all pleaded not guilty. Turnquest, a resident of Waterfall Drive, was also charged with 2 counts of forgery and 1 count of possession of a forged document. The 5th person, 47-year-old Darren Davis, was charged with receiving and pleaded not guilty. The 5 were denied bail. They go back to court on November 14th. A Grand Bahama activist tonight is calling on government to offer more assistance to people there. Now under their 4th week under a 24-hour lockdown, Rashard Adderley says, with eyes on 2 potential storms in the Atlantic, Grand Bahamians need a solution.
Social distancing is out of the window when you're looking at, you have the place locked down. When you open up on Monday, everybody rushing to get to the store because the store closes at a certain time. So now you have 1,000 people trying to get into a place that's going to close in 3 hours. Makes no sense. So now you're causing your situation to come up high. Now it's raining, so if you look over there, you have those people getting wet. It's sad. And then what's next? Look for more sicknesses?
Grand Bahama reported more than 450 cases of COVID-19. The Prime Minister then placed the island under an initial 2-week lockdown on July 23rd, which has since been extended.
If you put a cat against the wall, it's going to scratch you. So imagine a person who's hearing the child crying, your landlord's calling, your wife is calling, saying, what are we going to do next? You leave a person to more or less be in a pot to burst.
And still to come tonight, the BCPOU blasts ZNS management over the handling of 2 COVID-19 positive cases at the corporation. We've got details straight ahead.
Rev up on the next promotion? Okay. Nice.
Bye. You give up it.
That's 2 out of 3.
Sign up for Rev Trio and opt in to NBA League Pass absolutely free. Visit rev.bs or call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us, together.
After 2 of its members tested positive for COVID-19 and citing the possible exposure of more employees, the union at ZNS is calling for the resignation of the general manager. President of the Bahamas Communications and Public Officers Union, Dino Roll, is accusing the GM of the state-run broadcaster of attempting to bully employees back to work. Jillian Gray reports.
Heartless is how the BCPOU described the management at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in the wake of 2 COVID-19 cases. President Dino Roll said there was mass confusion after an employee tested positive for COVID-19.
The union came this morning simply to ask for the resignation of one Kaylisa DeVoe Isaacs because, Madam GM, you have failed your employees.
An employee in the newsroom at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas tested positive for COVID-19 on Saturday. Another employee reportedly tested positive on Tuesday, and Roll said that individual is believed to be a direct contact of the first case. Roll added that members are concerned about their health and the health of their families. He accused the corporation of using bullying tactics like threatening to downsize to get members back to work.
Started this bullying tactic on the staff. You have to return to work. State why you can't come to work. Presented something in writing why you can't come to work. The people were exposed on your job, but you may present them something. And so, after the staff was insisting on protecting their health, the general manager in one of her notices highlighted that because of the financial challenges of the corporation, consideration may be had to do some downsizing. That is threatening.
In a memo dated August 17, 2020, the general manager said that the corporation is experiencing financial challenges resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic, and the board will be determining how to restructure the corporation, which may include downsizing. The corporation advised that the building was sanitized, but Roll said he's telling his members not to go back in the building until proper sanitization takes place and personal protective gear is provided.
I don't want my members back in this place until management do what is required of them, properly sanitize this place, and provide those personal protective equipment for this place, including those members who were exposed on the job. I think they ought to be tested to know what their status are and before they continue to spread this thing among other colleagues and their families.
On Tuesday, executive management said in a statement that effective immediately, the corporation's headquarters will be closed until further notice after a second employee tested positive. In response to criticism from the BCPOU levied against them, the executive chairman of the BCP said he and the board of directors are satisfied that the general manager immediately applied COVID-19 protocols, adding that the relevant areas affected were cleaned and sanitized immediately after the first positive case and the entire building soon thereafter. The statement continued that both union presidents were notified and invited to attend the cleaning and sanitization by the Department of Environmental Health Services. The statement concluded by saying that the board and executive management are deeply concerned at all times for the health and safety of all staff members and will continue to follow the advice and protocols of the Ministry of Health and Department of Environmental Health Service as the pandemic is navigated. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Meteorologist Greg Thompson is up next after this break with your extended weather forecast. Also a look at the latest weather system out in the Atlantic. Stay with us.
Rev up on the next promotion? Okay. Nice.
Bye. You give up it.
Best 2 out of 3.
Sign up for Rev Trio and opt in to NBA League Pass absolutely free. Visit rev.bs or call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us, together.
And welcome back. Time now for a look at our extended weather forecast. Once again, here's meteorologist Greg Thompson.
Thanks again, Jerome. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your second look at weather. On our satellite, we are watching 2 areas in the tropics for further tropical development over the next couple of days. A tropical wave over the eastern Caribbean Sea producing quite a bit of disorganized showers and thunderstorms, moving towards the west at around 15 to 20 miles per hour over the Caribbean Sea. Second area that we're watching, an elongated area of low pressure located a little over 1,000 miles east of the Windward Islands, producing a concentrated area of showers and thunderstorms over the area. This system has the potential to become a tropical depression during the next day or two while it moves towards the west-northwest. We will continue to monitor these two systems over the next couple of days. In our boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight through tomorrow, southeast to south winds 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean, while in the southeast Bahamas, east to southeasterly flow continues at around 15 knots, seas running 3 to 5 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Monday. That's a look at your weather. Make it a great night, everyone.
That's going to do it for tonight's newscast. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Jerome Sawyer. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening.